Welcome back to the channel. Hopefully, the third time will be the charm. Uh, Apparently, we're having audio issues when we've been recording these. Sounds been popping and coming in and out. So we're going to try something different today and see if this will help us. Today, we're going to start discussing mindset. When I did the training at church, we titled this Ready, Willing, and Able. I look at mindset. Well, first off, for those that are watching, how many of y'all are first responders? Now, raise your hands. I can see you, which of course you're online. But now, if you did not raise your hand that you're a first responder, you owe me 25 push-ups. You are the first responder. I am not disparaging what EMS, law enforcement, fire does. They're excellent people. They don't get paid near enough for the crap they got to put up with. But at best, they're the second responder. If something happens, whether it's criminal in nature, medical in nature, you're the first person that responds because you were at the scene when it happens. Unless you've got an EMT, a cop, and a firefighter in your back pocket that you carry with you everywhere, you are the first responder. The reality is, for those of us who live in more rural counties, even dialing 911, it may take a significant period of time before you can get a response. It's nobody's fault, per se. It's not that they're being lazy. They just may be on the other side of the county. They may be on another call, So we have to be able to hold the fort. Unlike the Old West movies, we're not going to wait for the marshal, and the cavalry's not coming to save us. So, with that in mind, this is why we discuss mindset. Our biggest issue with mindset is a phrase that's called normalcy bias. Normalcy bias, in my opinion, has two aspects. There's the first aspect that says, this can't happen. The second aspect is, this can't be happening to me. So the first aspect is, yes, you may give lip service to the fact that we may have to address a trauma event, a medical emergency, home invasion, pick your poison. But you have never actually resolved yourself to that fact and addressed that fact. For those of us in the firearms community, I think this is a huge issue. We have a lot of, well, I'm not going to say a lot, but we have a insignificant percentage of the population that academically they understand this could happen, but they believe it would always happen to somebody else. Basically, they like to play pretend and dress up, but they don't want to pay, as the saying is, they don't want to pay the man to get good to be able to handle it themselves. The second aspect is, it cannot be happening to me. Now, this is not something theoretically in the future. This is something that's immediate. And the issue with this is, by the time you wrap your mind around the fact that, yes, this indeed is happening to me, your ability to respond has dropped so low, you may not be able to recover. You may not have time to recover. So this is the reason we have mindset. Now, going back to the title, Ready, Willing, and Able. I would like to actually put it in a different order, but that's the way we've always used the phrase, so that's the way we're going to do it. Ready is related to your gear. You have your gear with you. It is in good working condition. It is complete. We're good to go. If you were getting up in the morning, you're going out the door, check your weapon. It's loaded, it's lubed, maintenance has been performed on it, holster's in good shape, spare mag, you've got your IFAK, etc., etc. If you look at willingness, now this to me is the most important. Now we're going to look at this as a three-legged stool. All three legs are important. It's just, in my opinion, some are a little more important than others. Willingness is obviously the willingness to do. You're not just going to lay down, roll over, and die. As the old man up home, you say, it's root hog or die. You've got to bow up. Unfortunately, we have people that should know better. We have people that honestly are paid to do this that are not willing. I'm not picking on law enforcement by any stretch of the imagination, but if you look at what happened in, was it Parkland, Florida? They had a school resource officer, and I don't know what all happened, but apparently he was not willing to go into harm's way to protect the children. Now, was he able? Was he ready? He had his gear. The county provided it. The county provided training, which is being able, is knowing how to use your gear. But he did not have the willingness, apparently, to use the gear. And if that's not the case, if it was something else, I apologize. And again, I don't mean to be disparaging to him or law enforcement as a whole. But people being people, as an RN, I've watched RNs that do not treat their patients in the manner that they would want their family treated if their family was a patient. So it goes back to willingness. They have the ability, they're ready, they have the gear necessary, but they're not willing to put forth the effort. So when we look at this as a stool, willingness may be the most important, in my opinion. Being able is the second most important. Gear is third. But just like a three-legged stool, if one leg is missing or one leg is appreciably shorter than the other, you sit on that stool, you're going to end up in the floor. So this is how we must approach mindset. We must be ready, willing, and able. Now going back to normalcy bias. And I'm hitting the table, and I apologize because it's making the phone bounce. How do we address normalcy bias? Colonel Jeff Cooper, one of my mentors, I grew up reading basically everything he wrote. He's written several books. Every month he used to have a column in the back of Guns and Ammo called Cooper's Corner. And he was United States Marine Corps officer, retired. He, in my opinion, is if not the father of the modern technique of the pistol, he's at least one of the founding fathers of the modern technique of the pistol. He came up with what he referred to as a color code of awareness. The colors of the code are white, yellow, orange, and red. Condition white is you're oblivious. You are not aware of your surroundings. As I would phrase it, you have your head into a position where it can check for colon cancer. This is not a condition we want to be in. Now, people live in this condition comfortably for years, through no fault of their own. Or, well, it is their fault, but how many times have you heard somebody say they're in a car wreck? The car came out of nowhere. Well, no, it didn't come out of nowhere. I mean, you may not have seen it, and you may not have been paying attention. You were on your phone or just zoned out. Pardon me. You got a 4,000-pound piece of steel coming through the intersection. It just did not appear out of a portal. It was there. Now, you may not have realized it. How many people have we seen videos or in real life? They're walking around doing this business on their phone, and next thing you know, they've walked into a water fountain at the mall. It's funny, but it's also sad. We do not want to be condition white. What we want to be is condition yellow. Condition yellow is a relaxed state of alert. It's just one step above white. Condition yellow, essentially, and this has nothing to do with whether you're carrying a weapon, but condition yellow essentially states that we understand that bad things happen, and they may happen today. So we are comfortably alert. We're not paranoid, but we realize things happen. So we have our head up, we're looking around, and are just aware. You pull up to a parking lot, you're in a Walmart, you pull into the space. Before you get out, you're glancing around at the other vehicles. Are there people sitting in the vehicles? Are there people that's giving you undue attention? You know, 99 times out of 100, it's innocuous. There's nothing going on, but we are aware. Now, if we go, and I hit the table again, if we go up to the next level, we're in condition orange. Condition orange is the potential of a specific threat. Maybe you've pulled up to Walmart and somebody's giving you the hard eye. You know, they, again, it may be oblivious. You may come out of Walmart and you've parked out in the back 40 by the Murphy's gas because you got a new car and you don't want somebody hitting it with a buggy. And then you look, and all of a sudden, there, as my daughter calls it, a kidnap van parked next to you. Well, why is that van there? Are they up to skullduggery? Or maybe it's somebody that's in a new work van you just don't recognize that knows you, that's going to talk to you. Maybe it's somebody who's a contractor, and he just needs somewhere safe to pull over to talk on his cell phone, so he's not endangering the public going down the road on his phone. But we remain at condition orange until we have resolved the fact that this is not a threat. Now, once we have resolved it is not a threat, we're going to drop right back down into yellow, back to relaxed alert. If we have decided it is a threat, then we have decided a course of action. What are we going to do about it? Now, this will be cognizant on what the threat does. What we have said is in our mind, if he does this, I'm doing X, Y, Z. As Colonel Cooper says, you have taken your decision, you've hung it on a coat hook. So when it comes time, you don't have to decide, what should I do? You know, the decision's already been made, and it is based on him. If he does not point his weapon at you, if he pulls off, no harm, no foul. Go right back down to condition yellow. But if he does, you're not taking your cognitive ability that you really need for something else to make a decision or what you're going to do. Now, we've run just a little bit long, so we're going to stop it right here, and then I'm going to come back with part 2 of this, and hopefully we can do it in 2 parts. So, I'll see you in just a few minutes.